Hi, friends in Ukraine. This is Billy Guld from Faith No More. Listen, I just want to let you know that we're aware of what's happening there, and we are super upset with what's happening. We are totally supporting what you're trying to do. Protect yourself from this gang of thugs. I also wanted to know that all my friends think the same way. Everybody I know thinks the same way. And all my Russian friends think the same way. They're not into this either. Hang in there. Stay strong. You didn't bring this fight. It sucks that you have to deal with it. But in the meantime, just, you'll make it. Thanks. Hey, okay, I'm going to answer some of your questions that you posed to me. Sorry again about the delay, but here we go. So the first was, how did I spend last year? Last year, I did a few things. There was a soundtrack I worked on for a movie with a Serbian director called The Eclipse, with Jared Blum, who we have a group together called Talking Book, and we worked on this film that was pretty cool. But mostly, I mean, you know, our tour fell through with Faith No More, which was kind of a drag. But I've been spending a lot of time actually working on the Serbian spirit called Rakia. It's actually Slivovica. You guys have Slivovica, so you know what it is. In Serbia, and especially in this part of Serbia called Chumaria, they really make an amazing version. I don't know why, but nobody in the United States that isn't Balkan knows what it is. And it's my favorite thing. Every time I go to Serbia, I would bring some back, and I love it. And so I started a brand called Jebiga, where I'm bringing it to the States. And it's been pretty cool, but super hard and challenging, taking a lot of time because the U.S. is a big country. Things are really expensive. Nobody knows what the stuff is. So I've been traveling a lot. I was in New Orleans. I was in Texas, Missouri, New York, all over the place, San Diego, just kind of turning people onto it, doing tastings. Been a lot of work, but also really good work, meeting really cool people. Some are music people. A lot of them are not music people, which is kind of refreshing, actually. Sometimes when you're in the music world all the time, it becomes a little bit of a bubble with the same people, and you kind of lose touch with other parts of life that are happening. So I've really enjoyed it. Can music change the world today? That's a really good question. I'm not sure. I grew up in an era, 60s, 70s, 80s, when music definitely could change the world. And we were told that music could change the world. And we watched bands, musicians change the world, I mean, from the Beatles going into, whatever. I mean, everything. Everybody, artists had an impact on society. Now it's a little different. It doesn't work the same way as it did. Sometimes I wonder if these artists had such a big impact because they had big record companies supporting them. But regardless, I don't know if it can or can't actually anymore. It's not quite as clear cut. But what I do know is that music, for people who need to hear it and need to play it, it's a quality of life issue. And it doesn't matter if it changes the world or not, as long as you are doing what you need to do and you are experiencing it and you're improving your quality of life with it. Because you're going to do it anyway. Whether it changes the world or doesn't change the world, you're going to do it. You're going to listen to it. You're going to play it. I would like to think it could change the world because I think music is one of these kind of things that goes beyond cheap political sloganeering and left brain thinking, and it's more of a feeling thing. That it has things that bring people more in common, that come from different places and different backgrounds, and that to me is a healthy social thing. But we will see. Everything changes. Everything changes now. I mean, I believe that if you have something to say, there's always someone who can understand it. And that's musically, speaking, whatever. Okay, next question. What do you mean by war and death? I don't know what I mean about death because I haven't died yet. Death is something that happens to other people until it happens to you. It hasn't happened to me yet. So I don't know what I mean by that. I really don't know what I mean by that. I'm not going to know until I know. War is bullshit. I see war as bullshit. I see war as something, people say war is human beings are intrinsically born to conflict. I don't really believe that. I think that usually there's an instigator in a war. There's always an instigator. And the other side of the equation decides whether to let that instigator get away with things or stand up to them. Sometimes things are unsustainable and there has to be a conflict because there's an unhealthy situation going on. But regardless, fucking think it's complete bullshit. I think it's created. I think it's manufactured and not into it in any way. And I think that people that get, I don't know what to say about that, actually. I'm just not into it. What were your thoughts when you heard in February 2022 that Russia attacked Ukraine? When I heard that Russia attacked Ukraine, I thought that was really weird because so many Russian friends of mine have been going to Ukraine every summer their whole lives. And even though they're two different countries, I felt like there was always a connection with Russian people and Ukrainian people that would get beyond this kind of like political thing. I felt like there was much more in common, that shared memories. You know, I know like friends of mine went to Crimea every year, places like Odessa, like it's part of the Russian imagination. So when the war started, it felt insane. It's still kind of weird for me to wrap my head around. I can't imagine what it's like for you guys. But it really pissed me off. I really feel, and then when you watch this bullshit on Russian media, it actually makes me angry. And we have stuff here in the States, you know, people trying to just, you know, downplay like, oh, well, the Ukrainians are dirty, blah, 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 blah. You know, it really pisses me off. I have very little patience for it. That's my feeling. War in general sucks. This war really sucks. Really sucks. What gives you age? Boy, that's another really good question. You know what gives me age is when I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing. When I feel like I get tired, you know, I lose patience, you know, when I have circular conversations with people that get nowhere, that makes me age. When I see that people aren't getting really simple concepts, really human concepts, when I see people like that do things that do not make quality of life better, that ages me. It makes me tired. You know, I'm very lucky in that as a musician, I got to travel a lot. I got to go to a lot of different places, and I've got to experience a lot of things outside of where I grew up in California. And California is a great place. But, you know, coming back, I realized that, you know, I see more of the things that could be better. And I see, you know, people who don't get outside of their particular environment, how they get set in their ways and how hard it is for them to look outside of themselves. And it's frustrating sometimes when you're surrounded by people who are never going to change and only see the world a certain way. So that makes me tired. Okay. The main concert I played, and how did it feel? The biggest concert we ever played was Rock in Rio in Brazil. It was like in 1991, and it was amazing, but it was huge. It was like 150,000 people or something like that, some huge number, where it was so big it almost didn't feel real. And it was like, it was a big stage, sound was really weird. I felt like I was just trying to survive the whole time. I didn't feel pleasure. It was scary. It was overwhelming. It was kind of like, I imagine what parachuting is like, jumping out of a plane. I look at videos now and everything looked pretty good. And it looked like we played really well, and it was a great concert. But at the time, I don't remember feeling really happy about it. I felt like I survived something. Okay, now, what do you expect from the future? If there's anything that I've learned these past couple of years, and especially since the pandemic, is that I don't expect anything from the future. I don't expect anything. You work towards surviving. You work towards making life better. And, you know, I mean, I try to stay healthy as I'm getting older. I turned 60 this year. So, you know, if I want to feel good about things, I've got to work at it a little bit. But really just try to control the things I can control and try to keep a good perspective on things. That's it. That's all we can do, I think, is control our immediate environment. And obviously, you know, hope for a good future, but there's no guarantee of that. Thanks.